What's up people, this is Barry Big Plums Fishing. Welcome to my video. Here I am at Frensham Trout Fishery in Surrey, trying out my new Orvis Helios 3, potentially the best rod I've ever cast. A cracking day. I hope you enjoyed the video. After I had no luck with nymphs, I decided to put on an emerger because I saw the trout rising in the background as you see in the video. As soon as I fire my line out, 2 takes straight away, and I end up landing an absolutely beautiful little rainbow. So always worth looking out in your environment, guys, because you never know what the trout are going to take unless you look and see, because you can be having your favourite pattern and sometimes they're just not interested. So it's all about match to hatch, guys, and that is going to get you the most success. This is early on in the day here, literally within the first hour, which I turned up at Frensham in Surrey, and I was kind of just getting used to the rod. It's a completely different action to what I'm used to. I've been using the Sage Method 5 weight for about a year now, and that's known as one of the fastest action rods you can buy for your money. The Orvis Helios 3 is also a very fast action rod, the 3D version anyway, which is in 5 weight as you see here. But it isn't as stiff as the Sage Method, man. It is very, very strong, but it has a nice subtle bend to the tip, which allows you to really play your fish and not bounce them off on barbless hooks. That's a problem with stiffer rods. I find that sometimes you can bounce the fish off. And because I was fishing catch and release, I squash all my barbs because I want the fish to go back unharmed. I do always try and fish a 5 weight whenever possible. I do have a 7 weight. I've got an Airflow Airlight V2, which is a 10-foot 7 weight rod, which is really good when it's really windy, or if you're fishing out there on Buell Reservoir, you know, you need to get that distance. But all in all, I think a 5 weight is just a much more fun experience. The fish play better. It's not so tiring when you're out there firing a really big rod for hour on end. You go home, your shoulder hurts and all that sort of stuff. But this is as light as a feather. I've got the Hardy ASR reel, which is very light too, and I bought the Barrio mallard line, which was recommended to me off the fly fishing forums in the UK. A really good line, great presentation, and allowed me to get a few fish on the dry fly. It does carry line, but it settles really gently on the water, so it's got great presentation as well. So all in all, I absolutely love this new setup that I've got here, and I've been using it all the time, unless it's really windy and I have to go out my 7 weight. Here you see me using a fry pattern, a natural fry pattern without frits on it, and I do like using fry patterns in the winter, because at the end of the day the fish are hammering the roach, the fish are hammering the rod, because there isn't the insect life in the water, so they will be attacking fry, and that's going to be one of your best ways. Especially the brown trout, man, they love a natural fry pattern, and I've had some of my best brown trout on that method in the winter months. I fish Frensham Fly Fishery at least once a month. Although it's about a 2-hour drive for me, it's one of the best fisheries that I've experienced. They've got so much flowing water. You know, the owner said to me once there's 1 million gallons a day which flows through the fishery, and this allows massive oxygenation to the water, especially with the monk system they got, which filters down from one lake into the other, and it just allows the fish to have so much oxygen in their blood, and they really do put up a scrap, and that makes a real big difference. And also Frensham, this November, when I recorded this video yesterday for me now as I talk to you, and I was able to get 3 rainbow trout on the dry fly in basically the beginning of winter, which is very unusual. Dry fly generally is a summer and spring thing, but at Frensham you can get fish on the dry all the way through the year. I think another thing that Frensham also gets right is they're not afraid to leave the trees and the weeds by the water. For everyone you loses a fly, you know, it's really frustrating when you hook your tree on the back cast. But at the end of the day, there needs to be weeds in the water, there needs to be trees around the water for insect life to flourish and to feed the fish, especially if it's a well-stocked fishery. I know a couple of fisheries around my area which have completely stripped all the weed out of the water and cut down all the trees, and the fish are basically starving. You can see when you catch them there is no food in the water, so lots of oxygen, lots of food for the trout, and it means a healthy fishery. Right, we're getting later on in the day here in the video, and I can catch rainbow trout all day. That's fun, that's fine. They're very exciting fish to hook. They jump out the water and they are more free biting. But if you can ask me if I have one type of trout that I would like to catch above all else, it is always the native to the UK brown trout. There's something beautiful about a brown trout. They're much harder to catch than rainbows, and they're not as free biting, and they are just an amazing fish. You know, you do have to fish more natural to catch them normally, and they don't tend to go for the big fritzy lures like a rainbow trout will. But in Frensham they have a good stock of natural brown trout in here. They're not stocked, they just breed in the water, and they can come in all sizes. Most of them are small, but they are really stunning little fish. Absolutely amazing. It's not exactly going to put a massive bend in your rod when you catch a 4 or 5 ounce brown trout, but as you can see here, look at this fish. Can you get a more perfect specimen of brown trout? Absolutely beautiful. But there we have it, guys. I had about 7 or 8 fish in my day, a few on emergers like I said, but it was the brown trout which was my catch of the day. Thanks for watching. Plums out.